Shuklam Varadaram Vishnum Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarvabhigno Pashantaye Dorbiryukta Chaturbispatikamaнимayi Makshamalam Dadhana Haste Naikena Padmam Sitamapicha Sukam Pustakam Chaparena Bhasa Kunde Dushankas Patikamanibha Bhasamana Samana Same Vagdevateyam Nivasatu Vadane Sarvada Suprasanna Pujantam Ramarameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavita Vanacharinaha Shrinvan Rama Kathanadam Konayati Param Gatim Goshpati Kritavarashim Mashaki Kritarakshasam Ramayana Mahamala Ratnam Vande Nilatmajam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakāñjalim Bāshpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namatarakshasantakam Vaidehi Sahitam Suradrumatale Haime Mahamandape Madhye Pushpakamasane Manimaye Irasane Sustitam Agre Vachayati Prapanjana Sute Tattvam Munibhya Param Vyakhyantam Bharatadibhi Parivritam Ramam Bhaje Shyamalam Namostu Ramaya Salakshmanaya Devyai Chatasyai Janakatmajayai Namostu Rudrendra Yamanilebhyo Namostu Chandrarka Marutkanebhyaha Harihi Om. So we are in the pretty much the last leg of Ayodhya Kandam, and so Ayodhya Kandam, as we know, ends with the conversation between the two brothers, Bharata and Rama. It's really varied and in many different ways. Last three classes we saw just the Kasti Sarga. In one Sarga of 76 shlokas, Rama brought the best of administration that one can think of, covering so many different aspects of administration, leadership. How do you make yourself valuable? How do you take wise counseling? How do you keep certain things under, so all these very nice ideas we saw. So that is the first initial meeting. As soon as Bharata came, Rama asked, "Are you administering your country properly?" So in that process, those 76 sargas, 72 questions, all those came. But now it gets more substantive, because the very idea of Bharata coming to Rama is not to take lessons about administration. He came here because he wanted him to come back to Ayodhya. So, so the rest of the next 15 sargas are only about that. Of course, there are one or two sargas still remaining where Rama has not been told that Dasaratha is no more. Because as soon as Bharata came, the Kasi sarga came. Yeah, so many questions. So after Bharata informs Rama about Dasaratha's passing away, there are one or two sargas. Rama offering his pinda and all that. Then the real conversation gets in. So we will see some of them today. Some of them are very nice. So this is the shortest sarga in Ramayana. Just 9 shlokas. Okay. Just 9 shlokas make one sarga. And basically it is Bharata informing Rama that Dasaratha is no more. That's all. So it is told in a very concise way, and Rama was asked to offer pinda. Simple. In fact, starts by Bharata saying, "You come back to Ayodhya," because that every opportunity he keeps saying that we have been seeing from the 97th Sarga itself. Then he informs, the way he informs, I'm not getting those shlokas, but you can see it. He informs it in a way that, he says in passing. He does not seem to say it as a very main sort of a message. While he's saying the father is no more. So like that because he knows this itself is too much of shock for Rama. So that's why I think perhaps it is told like that. It is not with any Purapidika. It is not with any preparation. While he is talking, he simply tells him, father is no more. It's a very short 9 shlokas. So immediately after that, as Rama heard that Dasaratha is no more, there are 49 shlokas. The first thing that happens is Rama falls unconscious. And this is too much of a shock for him. Just a few days back, all these has happened. Maybe a month, one may not know anything more than that. Maybe a little more than a month, perhaps. So he falls unconscious. Of course, he also has his lamentations. The 13 shlokas are that. And then he goes and informs Sita that Dasaratha is no more. And then they all go to Mandakini river. All the 4 brothers go to the Mandakini river and offer the pinda and all that. Then, because just Shatrughna and Bharata only came. If you recall, it's only they. The others are all asked to sort of wait. But all others reach hermitage of Rama and hearing the wailing of the brothers. So they knew that they have met. So that was a signal actually. The cause of the wailing is not the issue. The issue is that Rama and Lakshmana has met Bharata and Shatrughna. So that was the message. So they all, the others, Vasishta, the mothers, the Amatyas, ministers, Sumantara, all those come. Not the full army, but these important people also reach the place, the hermitage, because they knew that they are there and they have been met. So that is what this particular sarga is. So how did Rama react to this news of Dasaratha's death? Actually, there is one in Sundarakandam. I was actually somewhere mentioning that. In Sundarakandam, there is a 19th sargam in which there are 26 similes for upamas for Sita. As Ravana came into Ashokavana, Hanuman was sitting in the Simshipa Vriksha and watching the whole thing. As he came, Pravade Kadaliva, that is the first thing. There are 26 upamas. There is very similar upama. One upama is common. The same, more or less, the same upama is being used here by Valmiki to describe, because there it was how Sita was so afraid of Ravana on seeing the plight of what it is. That is how those 26 upamas were there. Here, one of the same upama is used. But here to describe how did Rama, what happened to Rama when he was told Dasaratha is no more. So that is what is happening here. Tantu vajramivo srishtam Ahave Danavarina Vagvajram Bharate Noktam Amanognyam Parantapaha Pragrihya Ramo Bahu Vai Pushpitagro Yatadrumaha Vane Parashuna Krittaha Tata Bhuvi Papataha Tam tu Vajram iva Utsrishtam. What Bharata told, Bharata in passing communicated. He did not do any Puropitika. In passing he communicated. But even that one message, Vajramaiva Usrishtam Ahave Danavarina, Indra's Vajra, how if Indra applied Vajra on someone, how it, sort of hits on someone, right? Like that, Vagvajram. What Bharata, Vagvajram, the words that he spoke, Bharata spoke, which is what? That father is no more. That was like Vajra in the form of words. That's what Valmiki says. Vagvajram Bharate Naha Uktam. It was told to us. What was told to us was like a Vajra in the form of words. And Amanognyam. It is not Manogyam. It is not something you like to, hear. It is Amanognyam. Amanognyam Parantapaha. See, this in Kavyas, they use very nice adjectives. Look at the adjective here, Parantapaha. Parantapati iti Parantapa is an adjective to show, in Gita also you'll find it in a few places. It shows he is solid rock. Right? He is such a solid rock personality, if you want to, Parantapati iti Parantapaha. One who can scorch the enemies by virtue of his, force and Ugra and all that. That is adjective for Rama. But that Rama, for that Parantapa, this Vak Vajram is too much. So there is a very high quality adjective, but then it says it is more than that. That's why those adjectives are used there. Okay. So he says, Tamtu Vajram iva Usrishtam Ahave, Dhanavarina Usrishtam iva Ahave. As it was told that Indra, applied Vajra and how it hits people in the same way, right? Vagvajram Bharate Nauktam Amanogyam Parantapaha. So, and then Pragrihya Ramo Bahu Vai. So, having taken it, right? He just, he couldn't, he sort of withdrew his shoulder. I mean, the jerk was there. Pushpitagro tatadrumaha, as though a branch of a tree, right? Vane, in the forest, a tree which has flowered a lot, and with a parachute, with the axe, you are chopping off one of those branches with full of flowers, and how if it falls, how it is. So it was like that. The way he fell was something like that. That's the Upama he says. There also the same Upama is there in 19th Sarga also. He says, Pushpitagro yata drumaha vane parashuna kritaha tata bhuvi papata. He fell on the ground. He fell on the ground as though a mighty branch of a good tree in a forest was chopped off with an axe, and how it fell. That like that he fell on the ground. So a bit of a Naha. Naha means there are then the 103rd Sarga, which is 32 shlokas. Yeah, because I have not brought the shlokas of the Pinda and all that, but there are a couple of nice shlokas here which I wanted to bring. So Rama, as I told you, Rama, after hearing the news, he informs Sita also, and they all go to Mandakini river, all the 4 brothers offer Pinda and all that. And then these people come. Then in this Sarga, there is a description of Kausalya and the mothers visit the place where Rama offered the pinda. They came there. So that is the first 16 shlokas where Kausalya makes a certain observation. I brought only those shlokas. Couple of observations she made. It is there in the 16th, first 16 shlokas. Then the 17 to 26, Rama and Lakshmana and Sita offer their respects to their mothers. Those descriptions are there. And all others have come. So Rama offers the respect to Vasishtha, all the ministers, Sumantra, everybody is there. Because from now on only the conversation is going to go. The place is all set for the final conversation. That is because the first conversation was only between Bharata and Rama, which is a Kassi Sarga. Now all of them have come. So because they are going to put pressure, not just Bharata. In fact, in one Sarga, Jabali actually says something which Rama bluntly dismisses in a very, I would even say it bothered on disrespectfulness actually. Yes. So Jabali also tried, Vasishtha tried, Bharata tried, and all that we will see. 3-4 attempts made. Now, Kausalya made a certain observation. In that 16 slokas, I just took these 2 slokas because I found some tatparya here. Tasya deva samanasya parthivasya mahatmanah naitad upayikam manye bhukta bhogasya bhojanam. See, Kausalya went and saw. And what did Rama offer? Rama offered something which was available there. He is a Vanavasi now. Some fruit in the Ingutam fruit, some fruits, something he offers pinda. On seeing it, Kausalya's heart is heartbroken. And then the shloka comes. So what is the shloka saying? Tasya, Deva Samanasya. All these are for Dasaratha. Tasya, Deva Samanasya, Parthivasya, right? Bhukta Bhogasya. We'll come to the Bhukta Bhogasya later. So the first line says to that person who is, equal to God, right? And he is a Parthiva, right? Mahatmanah, Mahatmanah, Sarvam Sashtyam. Na etat aupayikam manye. I don't think this is what should be given. This is what she says. What was given was what was available, some fruits, some leaves and things like that, which Rama gathered. And then that is what he offered. He says, na etat aupayikam manye. Why? Because Bhukta Bhogasya. He enjoyed a 4-square meal. He is such a great king. He has had the best of everything in his life. For him, this is not the bhojanam. Pinda should not be like this. She feels like that. She feels very heartbroken on seeing for such a great person, the pinda that the elder son is offering is some, a few things which you pick from the ground and gather a few things from here and there. So that, and then a few shlokas later, there is a tatparya. It's a nice tatparya which she herself says that. Look at what is she saying further. Shutistu kalviyam satya laukiki pratibhati me yadhanna purusho bhavati tadanna stasya devataha. It's a very, very important concept actually. See, Shrutihi tu kalu iyam satya laukiki pratibhati me. What is told in the Shruti is being now demonstrated here. This is a worldly thing that has to happen. Shruti has indeed said that. That is being pratibhati me. That is getting clearer to me. In this example, it is getting confirmed. It is getting clearer to me. And what is that? That is that last line. It says, Yat annaha purushaha bhavati. What you eat. What you eat. Yat annaha purushaha bhavati. Tad annaha tasya devataha. What I take is what I should offer to the God. This is the core of bhakti. This is the kernel of bhakti. What we take is what we should offer. So this shows that bhava. This shows, in fact, in Pitrakarya, number one, topmost in the list is Bhava. All others actually follow that. In Pitrakarya, the topmost is Bhava. How much Bhava you are, that's why I read somewhere in one of the, I don't remember because I keep reading, but it says, if on the day of Shraddha, there was a war, there was a calamity, there was, let us say, some kind of great disturbance. We are not able to offer Pinda, annual. Dharma Shastra says, go to the open ground and cry for 1 hour. Over. Go to the open ground and profusely cry for 1 hour. That is, see, that shows that kind of that bhava, which is very critical to Pitrakarya. All others are secondary. So if nothing is possible, go there. But not only there, I have seen in, when people talk about Sandhya, there is one rule. Suchova Ashuchova Kale Sandhya Samacharet. There is one rule there. Whether you are clean or you are Sucho or Ashucho, whether you are clean or unclean, that is not, it is Kale Sandhya Samacharet. The example given there, I read it somewhere, is while the war was happening, they take a break, Madhyanikam. They take a break and offer. See, in Sandhya Vandana, there are only 4 things. See, everything is added. Sandhya Vandana has only 4 components. If you look at, one is called Arghya Pradhana. Arghya is the fundamental thing in Sandhya Vandana, Arghya Pradhana. And then Aikya Anusandhana. The Mahavakya will be there. For each Veda, there will be a Mahavakya. That is the second part. Then the third part is Gayatri Mantra. Fourth part is Surya Upasana. The rest are all added. These 4 are the fundamental, and of all these, the most, in the order of priority and the most important thing is Aikya Pradhana. So I've read that if there is no water in the middle of this thing, they take sand and give Arghya Pradhana. So what are all these pointing to? All these are pointing to lot of our karma are all weaved around bhava. That is the crux of the whole thing. So she says, Yadannaha Purusho Bhavati Tadannaha Tasya Devata. That he says, Shruti has said this. She says, Shrutihi tu kalu iyam satya. Laukiki satya, Shrutihi tu kalu iyam. This is established in the Shruti. I am able to see that now because his father has asked him to believe in a particular way. So in that, what it is that he should give, and that is what he has given. So Kausalya is reconciling to herself by bringing this very, very important concept, which is there. Then comes 104th Sarga. Actually, Rama asks, why did you come here? That question hasn't come yet. Because he came immediately, the Kasi Sarga was there, and then immediately Bharata informed father is no more. Part of it he has understood, but nevertheless, so we ask, Rama asks Bharata, what is the reason for you to come and meet me here? Then Bharata again says, you take the kingdom. Again, there are a couple of shlokas which I brought today. I am only taking only those tatparyas from all these sargas. Bharata says, no, take the kingdom. And then Rama says why it is important to follow father's wishes. We should not be like this. After this, from the 105th sarga, there's a detailed discussion which starts actually. These are all sort of preamble for the bigger discussion that is going to happen. Yebischa sachivai sardam shirasayachito maya bhratu sishyasya dasasya prasadam kartum arhasi. So Bharata says, Yebischa, with all the people have come now. Vasishtha has come, all the Sumantra, all of them have come. Yebischa sachivaihi, right? Sardam, along with them and all that. Right? Along with these, Shirasaya Chito Maya, I offer, I offer my pranams to you and then I beg you. That's what he says. Look at the humility of Bharata throughout, you will see it. When you read this part of Ramayana, this is where Bharata has a greater role in entire Ramayana. Then towards the end, in between you don't really see much. So Yachito Maya Bratuhu Sishyasya. So he qualifies himself as I am your Sishya, I am your Dasa, right? Sishyasya Dasasya Bratuhu. I am your Sishya, I am your Dasa. I am offering myself to you along with all these people. And he says, Prasadam Kartum Arhasi, by taking the kingdom back, this is what you can do to this is the prasada you can offer. Prasadam Kartum Arhasi. He says, I am your Dasa and your Sishya. So this is what he actually tries to tell Rama. And Rama then for the rest of the chapter, the 10-12 shlokas are there. He said it's not like that. What father has said, we should not go and tamper it in any other ways and so on. A couple of shlokas. Nadosham tvayi pashyami sukshmamapyarisudana nachapi jananim balya tvam vihargitum arhasi. First of all, Rama wants to relieve him of a certain guilt that he is. See, what is the issue? Bharata was elsewhere. Kaikeyi did everything. Bharata was in his uncle's place. Everything was sorted out and everything was cleared for Bharata. So this is the biggest guilt that Bharata has. And his guilt and his sense that somebody may feel bad of me, the number one should be Rama. Then only others. Because he is the entitled for the throne, and so this guilt was too much in him. So Rama first wants to do the nivarana of that. So he says, Na dosham sukshmamapi. Sukshmamapi na dosham tvayi pashyami arisudana. I don't see even the subtlest aspect of any dosha in you. Why are you feeling so this thing? I don't see even the subtlest amount of dosha in you. Nachapi jananim, he says, not even to your mother. I don't find any this thing with your mother also, right? Right? No. He says that because I don't find any fault with you. He says, Nachapi jananim balya tvam vihargitum argasi. Jananim tvam vihargitum na argasi. I think you should not. There is nothing wrong. Why are you unnecessarily? Well, he blasted his mother, no? He blasted his mother left, right, center as soon as he came. And he said, don't do that. It's not required. He says, Jananim tvam vihargitum na arhasi. You don't have to reproach your mother. There is nothing wrong. I mean, he says there is no fault with your mother also. That is what is implied here. You don't have to do all that. There is nothing, no fault in any of these. Why are you feeling this sense of guilt? That is not required. Don't worry about any of this. Then it's another nice shloka. Vane va chiravasanam saumya krishna jinambaram rajye vapi maharajaha mam vasayitum ishwaraha. So to decide where I should be, Vaneva, and in the forest how it is, chiravasanam, right? The way you have to live in a forest is like that, na? Krishna ajina ambaram. The bark of the tree and all these skin of this thing, right? Whether I have to lead a life like this, Vaneva, Rajyeva. Second line says Rajyeva. Or should I be in the kingdom, administering the country? Right? So Vaneva Chiravasanam. Saumya is the adjective for Lakshmana. For Bharata. He is talking to Bharata, na? So the Saumya is the adjective. Hey Bharata. Vaneva Chiravasanam Krishna Jinambaram Rajyevapi. So whether I should be in the forest or I should be in the Ayodhya and do all these, that only father has to decide. You and I should not decide. Father has decided it in a particular way. That is what it is. He says, Maharajaha Mam Vasayitum Ishwara. He is the Lord for me to decide where I should live. not you. Vasayitam. Vasitam, Vasayitam. It's a, causal form. To decide where I should live, whether I should live in the forest or I should be in the kingdom as a prince or whatever, that it is the father's thing. He is the Ishvara, he is the Lord. He has to decide. He has to decide whether. So you don't. Father has decided. What he is saying is, Father has decided. All these are over. You should not have any seed of guilt in this. It is not that you did something or you have to do a nivarana, nothing like that. Father has decided. Then he says another shloka. Yavat pitari dharmajnah gauravam loka satkritam tavad dharma brutam sreshta jananyamapi gauravam. He says the kind of respect that you have for your father, that same kind of respect you should have for your mother also. That's what he says. Rama says that. He says, Yavat Pitari, look at again the adjective here, Dharmajna. The adjective for Bharata is, you are a knower of Dharma. When you are a knower of Dharma, then there is a way you have to behave with your father and mother. So he is telling him, I am not very happy with the way you are dealing with your mother. Indirectly, that is where he is coming to. So he is saying, Yavat Pitari Dharmajna Gauravam Lokasatkritam Thavat. Again, Dharma Brutam Sreshta. Again, there is a one who can keep, who is very good in keeping up to Dharma. I am telling you, you should have that same type of Gaurav with your mother also. Put father and mother on the same pedestal. Don't put it at a different pedestal. Put them both at the same pedestal. And then you must, understand that's how it is. Because the way he was handling his mother, Rama is disapproving of it. He may be doing it out of guilt, out of all that. So he says, no, father and mother are same. Same respect and the same thing you must have for both of them. So that's what he says in this particular shloka. So Silverton Srinivasasri quotes this shloka quite a bit. In his Ramayana lectures, he brings this shloka. He says how Rama establishes that both the parents are to be, like that he keeps quoting this. Then comes 105th Sarga. There is something very interesting. Today we are going to see only this Sarga for the rest of the next 1 hour. Because when I read this Sarga, I thought I read actually chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. This feeling I got when I read it. In chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, if you read, actually the first 9 shlokas are Arjuna, all that. And then 10 sloka Sanjay Vacha, all that. The 11th sloka onwards only Gita, starts, Upadesha starts. From 11th shloka to 30th shloka you read. It's a very important. 2.11 to 2.30. You find a mirror image here. That's what then I said, what is common between the two? I found something common between the two. And I found there is a message here. There is a message here which both Krishna and Rama are probably bringing. I mean, this is my own making. Bear with me for what I am trying to. Anyway, so we will see it and then I will tell what I felt when I read this and I found shlokas are parallel to shlokas 2.11 to 2.30 in Gita. Anyway, here there are 46 verses. Once again, Bharata pleads to Rama, no, you must come back and take away. He keeps on saying that. Unquestioningly, he is doing that. Then 14 to 31 is exactly 11 to 30, more or less that, in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. Rama explains how life is temporary and why we should not grieve over happenings. This is a set of shlokas. He starts giving some advice to Bharata actually. And so building that argument, he says it is not proper grieving over Dasaratha's death. He said this chapter is very Vedantic actually. There's a high philosophical ideas are there in this chapter actually. And therefore, finally, Rama advises Bharata, go back and rule. I think you are getting too emotional. And what I find is, he is emotional as much as Arjuna was emotional there. He is facing a problem which is very difficult, as much as Arjuna was also facing a problem which is very difficult. That's the commonality I found between these two situations. That's why the shlokas are also very common. So I have taken about 8, 9, 10 shlokas actually. First Bharata says, Santvita mamika mata dattam rajyamidam mama taddadami tavaivaham bhungshwarajyamakandakam. Santvita mata mamika dattam rajyam idam. My mother was satisfied. She put the conditions and got it. She was satisfied. And she got that kingdom for me. It is mine now. Mama. Mama rajyam idam mamika mata santvita mata mamika dattam. This is so she first acknowledges it is mine. Technically it is mine. So he now goes through a different route. He says, it is mine now. I can decide what I want to do. So far you are saying you go father, you go, that's all fine. Now I am coming in a different route. This is mine. If it is mine, I can decide what I want to do. No? So that is where he is coming now. That's why the first line is saying, this is given to me, it is mine now. Now he says, Tat dadami. Now I am giving. So forget about the old arguments now. Tat dadami tava eva aham. For you I am giving now. Tava eva aham tat dadami. Bhungshva rajyam akandakam. You take the kingdom and then you rule it, enjoy it, whatever you want to say. So he is now taking a different route now. Right? Then he says, also another point he says, Sujivam nitya shastasya yapparairupajivyate ramate natu durjivam yapparan upajivati. This is a nice concept he brings about life here. He says, Yaha paraihi upajivyate. If you make others live, you will be happy. You don't depend on somebody, but you are making somebody else live. I mean, you make some people, you are like a lad, more or less, right? He says, for such people, it is sujivam. Sujivam nitya shastasya yaha paraihi upajivyate. Those who are able to make others live, which means they are dependent on him, they make them live, make them lead a life. Such people will have a comfortable life. Whereas, look at the other person, I am dependent on you. If I have to lead a life in which I am dependent on you, that life is not very easy. It's not a good life also. That's what he says. Hey Rama, tena tu durjivam. By that person, it is durjivam. Yaha paran upajivati. Para anupajivati. Para anupajivati. He says, I have to follow somebody to make my living. In other words, I am dependent on somebody. Para anu upajivati. On somebody else, I depend for me to live. If a person lives like that, that dependent life is very difficult. A life in which you are able to make others live and see the joy of others living because of your this thing is what he's saying is, I am dependent on you. So that life that I am leading will not be a very comfortable. I should not do that. I am your dasa. I am your sishya. I am your dasa. I am eternally dependent on you. I am at your feet. So I should not try to do all these because that will be a very difficult life. Whereas you are in such a nice thing, you will be able to make others feel happy and make others live. Your life is good. My life will not be good. So I should not do it like that. That's what he is saying. He is saying, my life is like this. So I should not attempt all this. I think that will be very difficult for me. In other words, what he is saying is leading a life in which if we have to, there are a lot of people who unwittingly got into paran upajivati. Need not be only people. It can be some things. You are controlled by something else, some desire, some requirement, something. All these, if it starts dictating you, it need not be only a manushya. If other things start dictating you, your life is not very worthwhile. If you are able to lead a life where you have total degrees of freedom, that life is any day better. Whereas those who depend on, I remember there is one shloka in Vairagya Shataka where he says, there are 7 types of bhaya. Kleshe, Kulabhayam, for people, people who have money, there is a fear from the king, and Nripalad Bhayam, there is one shloka like that. Whereas Vairagyasya Bhayameva Nasti, there is a nice shloka in Vairagyasya. One who has degrees of freedom lives a life which is very free. Something like that. There is one Vairagyasya, there is one shloka. So that is what is being conveyed here. I think the message is, if we try to make a life in which we get dependent on something, someone, something, certain expectations, certain things, that life is challenged. That's the message here. That life is likely to be challenged. A life in which we are free, there is nothing on which I need to depend on, that life may be a lot more worthwhile life, is what Bharata is saying here. Then Rama started. I will take a few shlokas. From 15th, actually, he starts. Natmana kamakarosti purusho yamanishwaraha itaschetarataschainam kritanta parikarshati na atmanaha kamakaraha asti purushaha ayam anishwaraha, not ishwaraha, anishwaraha. That's the first line. Na atmanaha kamakaraha asti. What I want to do, I don't think I can end up doing it all the time. Na atmanaha kamakaraha asti ayam purushaha kimartam tite saha anishwaraha. He doesn't have complete control on everything. In fact, he can't do anything that he wants. This is the fact of life. First, this is what it is, he says. He says, itascha, itaratascha, is all in sandhi, no? Itascha, itaratascha, yenam. So he is rattled here and there. Itascha, itara, somewhere else. Here, then there. Here, there is not necessarily a place. It can be a situation, it can be a certain thing in life, not just place. Parikarshati. Who is doing that? Kritantaha. Kritantaha is the lord of death, or fate, or whatever you want to call it. In other words, he says, in fact, there is people actually misunderstand 2 things. It came in last, in Tatsisarga also we saw. The 20 Lakshanas and all that, in that we saw. See, there is something called fate, there is something called being a fatalist. You should not mix these 2. There is something called fate. Daivam. Daivam cha atra panchamam is what Krishna says, in Bhagavad Gita. Adhishtanam, tata karta. Daivam cha atra panchamam. Daivam, fate is a reality. Fatalist is one who throws his hands foolishly, and he says, fate is a reality, in no way prevents us in doing what we have to do. There is a confusion between these 2. Fate is a reality. Daivam cha atra panchamam. Whatever you do, there is a die which is rolled. But just because the die is rolled, it no way suggests to you that you throw everything, all actions sit. Anyway, something is, that is foolishness. That people are not, such people are fatalists. We should not be fatalist, but we should know that there is something called fate. You may ask why? Because when we put the best foot forward, when things don't happen, where is this wisdom to receive it? Where is the wisdom to handle adversities in life? The wisdom to handle adversities in life will only come to a person who is a strong believer in fate, but he will be full of action. He will not be a fatalist. The fatalist is one who hides behind the fate and he says, oh, it is all fate, so why should I do anything? I will just keep quiet. Or that is called cynicism. Fatalism is cynicism. Fate is reality. Now, what it really means is, you keep doing things. That's why karma neva adhikara mahapaleshu kadachana ma karma pala heturbu mate sangastu akrami. Also Krishna is saying only because of that. He says, understand there is a fifth variable. But you keep doing what you have to do. What is the best possible thing you can do, you please do. And then when things don't go that way, understand there is something called fate. That is a wiser person. Such people are little wiser in life because they are the only way we can handle life. You cannot handle life by disowning, disbelieving fate, nor can you handle life by being a fatalist. Both are not correct. You should understand. So he first brings fate. He says, you would have liked whatever you want, I would have liked whatever I want. That's not what it is. Today we are in a situation, please understand, the die has been rolled. Who is doing that? Kritantaha. That's the fate. So he says, first you understand this, that so many events happen in life, and the so many events happen in life because the final turn of how it should happen is that fifth variable. Daivamcha atra pancham. So I want to clearly differentiate between a fatalist and the existence of fate. He says that. Then, sarve kshayanta nichayaha patananta samuchrayaha sanyoga viprayogantaha maranantam cha jivitam. So he explains it in so many shlokas in different formats actually. This is a central issue which takes and explains. He says, sarve kshayantaha nichayaha. Sarve nichayaha kshayantaha. He says, all that you accumulate will have to go. Finished. All that you accumulate has to go. How can it stay? It is not possible. We have still not found a technology in which before we die, we do a neft and then our account goes to, actually we have a system that is called our karma. Neft is being done, not the currency, but not this so-called material wealth or all these. But there is a neft system which is already working in our Sanatana Dharma. So he says, Nichayaha sarve kshayantaha. They all culminate in kshaya. Okay? Samuchrayaha patantaha. That, this is simple law of gravity. What has to go up has to one day come down. So if you go too much, then when you come down, you can't even gather your bones. If you go too high, when you fall, it will be too much. So he says, Samuchrayaha patanantaha, right? They are all, the ending is falling. Sanyogaha viprayogantaha, right? All that all get together will all go away. I mean, certain things they are able to understand. See, you take a train from here and go to Bombay. So when you take a train from here and go to Bombay, in your coach, some two people sat. So about 8 hours, we kept talking to them. Only thing is, between us, we talked 80 years. There it is 8 hours. So only time scale is only logarithmic scale. Fact are the same. We talk to each other for 40 years, 50 years. In that, we talk for 40 hours. But, Pune comes, this gentleman and the lady goes off. That's the end of it. Sanyogaha viyogantaha eva. That we are able to reconcile. That we are able to understand. But when it comes to our life, we don't understand. It is only a slightly larger scale. There is nothing very different here. It's a slightly a larger scale. We see it over a few years, maybe a few more years. So he says, Sanyogaha viprayogantaha. So they will all Maranantam cha jivitam. So the life will also end in death. The so-called life is not going to be. That's why this when Parikshit was told that in 7 days you will be actually Taksha will come and then you'll be dead. Parikshit wanted immortality. I am using English word Amritatva. Immortality. For quite some time, for quite some time I learned immortality means you will live forever. I thought like that when I was young, I used to think like that means you will, because in Puranas also that kind of indications there. What is Amritatva? Amritatva is a situation where the notion of death and all those have disappeared from your screen. So when Parikshit body fell, Parikshit never died. If Parikshit understood that concept, he reached Amritattva. That is what he got from Shuka Brahma in 7 days. In 7 days, he got what is immortality. Immortality is not keeping this body and trying to somehow manage it for thousands of years, light years, and all. Not that. Marana. So what comes will go. All these you will find in chapter 2 also. Jatasya hi dhruva mrityuhu. All that shloka. You can find equivalent shloka for many of the shlokas that are going to come now. Kaumaram. Huh?
7 days for friendship. For us also, it's one of the 7 days.
Yeah. Yes.
One of the 7 days it has to be.
Yes. It's all as simple as that is what he is saying. Yatagaram dridastunam jirnam bhutva vasidati tatai vasidanti naraha jara mrityu ashangataha. Yata agaram, building, good house, dridastunam, solid pillars, all that. Jirnam bhutva avasidati. There was one bridge built in Madurai by one Alfred Victor. So he gave 150-year guarantee for it. Generally 170 years, it is still working. But one day it will fall anyway. With all our civil engineer is sitting here, so you will be able to give us more technical details of that. But whatever it is, at the end of the day, such a solid piece of construction will also one day it will become Jirna. If you don't know how to do it, our Mother Earth will shake a little bit and then do it also. We have all mechanisms available. One tsunami and one earthquake will shake it off and then Jirnam Bhavati, Sarvam Jirnam Bhavati. So, Jirnam Bhutva Avasidati, Tata Eva, in the same way, Naraha Sidanti. Sidanti is dropping off. Sidanti Mamagatrani is what Krishna, Arjuna says, no? Mukam cha parisushyati, vepatascha sariram me, romashal sajayat. Sidanti is just slipping and dropping off. Just like that dropping off. So, Naraha Tataiva Sidanti. One of the days, as she was saying, one of the 7 days. Jara mrityu vashangataha. See, this whole process is janma. Swami Chinmayananda used to say, mother's womb to tomb. Womb to tomb is the word he uses. Everything happens between. Life is just janma, then jara, vyadi, mrityu. These are major milestones. Within that, you can say, I am a CEO, I did that, I bought a house. All that you can dot all of them. But there are major milestones available. So what Rama is also saying here, like Krishna is saying there. So he says, Sidanti naraha jara mrityu vashangataha atyeti rajani yatu sana pratini vartate yatye vayamuna purna samudram utakakulam. Atyeti goes off, Rajini, night. Ya Rajini atyeti sana pratinivartate. Time and tide waits for no man. They say like that, no? There is a German saying. He says, no, twice. No man can cross the river twice. Yeah. No man can cross the same river twice. What it means is that if you cross the river at 5:23, you cross at 5:24, the water is different. In other words, time and tide waits for no man. That is what he is trying to say here. He says, Atyeti Rajani, Ya Rajani Atyeti, Satu na pratinivartate. That's all. Gone is gone. It is a unimodal flow. This is talking about time. Time is a unimodal flow. There is only one axis for time. There is no reverse axis. It's only a positive axis, no negative axis for mathematically speaking. Time flows only in this way. Although Indian concept of time is circular, not linear. Or yuga is all, it comes in a particular, it is a forward movement only, but it's circular, not linear. That's the Indian conception, Sanatana Dharma's conception. Direction. Direction. Yeah. Yatyeva Yamuna Purna. So just like the water of Yamuna which flows into Samudram, Udaka akulam is confluence of water which flows into the thing, does not come back. It is unidirectional. We are all living in a unidirectional flow of time. We are all living, Rama is saying, we are all living in a unidirectional flow of time. And he brings the importance of time. The time that we have lost is the time we have lost. It is not going to be compensated by any ways. You can compress something and then gain something. Although, I mean, you can have time zone and all that. You can start on a Monday and reach, America on Sunday, Monday morning, evening, you can leave. All that you can do. But they are all illusory. Time is flowing. It's all your artificial time keeping mechanism. Nothing more than that. So he says time is the essence of life also. He's bringing time as one essence of life. He brought fate. He talked about fate. He talks about time. Ahoratrani gacchanti sarvesham praninam iha ayum shikshapayantyashu grishme jalamivam shavaha. It says ahoratrani gacchanti sarvesham praninam iha. Praninam, na kevalam manushyanam, praninam. Sarvesham praninam ahoratrani gacchanti. Ahanyahani bhutani gacchanti emalayam seshaha stavaram ichanti is what in that Yaksha Prashna, Dharma Yudhishthira said that. Whereas in Vairagya Shataka, Adityaihi gata gataihi, there is one shloka. Samchiyate jivitam, Adityaihi Vyaparaihi bahu karya karmabihi kalopi na jnayate. We are all so busy. Vyaparehi bahu karya gurubihi. We have so much of work. Adityehi gata ragarha samkshiyate jivitam. Every day when the sun rises, from your number of years of living, one day is out. One day is cut, taken out. But vyaparehi bahu karya gurubihi kalopi na jnayate. We don't think about time. We are losing the sense of time. We are busy. We are doing unimportant things. Time is passing by. So Rama is also, time is passing by. That's what he is bringing these examples. He says, Pitwa pramada madiram unmatta bhutam jagat. That's what in Vairagya Shatakam there is one shloka. He says, Janma vyadi jara trashasya nopadyate. People are dying all around, but it doesn't generate any amount of fear in you. Pitwa mohamayim pramada madiram unmatta bhutam jagat. That's what the Bhartrihari says. Another what it says is, we are into so many things and time keeps on. 2019 April is over. Tomorrow April is over. Another 4 months to ho gaya. 2019 mein. Same. Yes. So he says, Ayum kshapayanti. Ashu, fastly. So when this happened, when this event of sunrise sunset happening, he says, Jatiti, our Ayu also is going. Ayuhu kshapayanti, Ashuhu. How? Grishme jalam iva amshavaha. Just like the sun is sucking the water during the Grishma Kala, during the summer time. Like that, every day things are our repository of the life that is with us. The credit balance is coming down. Day by day, the credit balance is coming down. Is what he is telling to Bharata. Then, Atmanam anushochatvam kimanyam anushochasi ayuste hiyate yasya stitasya cha gatasya cha ashochan anvashochastum prajnavasam sabhashade. Same shloka in a different way. Same thing he is saying. Atmanam anushocha. You think about you. Time is going. You are just wasting a lot of time on so many things. You are getting distracted on so many things. He wants to, shake him out of this deep emotion. Same thing Arjuna had. He was in deep emotion. Only when you violently shake him and take him out, things can happen. Same situation here. That's why same yukti. You find the same yukti here. So he says, Atmanam anushochatvam. Deeply reflect about yourself. Right? Kim anyam anushochasi. Ashochan anushochastvam. The same thing is told. Why are you thinking about other things? Don't think about other. Time is running out. Fate is there. So many things are there. Right? He says, Ayuste hiyate. That's what he's saying. Your ayu is coming down. You are just losing precious time. Ayuste hiyate yasya. Yasya stitasya cha gatasya cha. Whether you are sitting or whether you are walking, going here and there, it doesn't matter. So many days we keep on ticking down. What you do is all for your own, to take care of your own ego and all that. You do whatever you want to do. Stitasya cha gatasya cha ayuhu hiyate. Whatever you engage in, you may be busy doing 1,000 things. Please do. Good luck. Please understand, you have to think about yourself. If you don't think about yourself, you are just losing out. That's what he is telling Bharata. Rama is telling Bharata. Sahaiva mrityur vrajati, saha mrityur nishidati, gatva sudirgamadvanam, saha mrityur nivartate. He says, wherever you go, death will come with you. Wherever you go. He says, mrityuhu sahaiva vrajati. Wherever you go, death is constantly coming with you. You finally take a call, pull it out, take the remote and press the button suddenly when it decides. Sahaiva mrityur vrajati, saha mrityur nishidati. So if you sit, it is a constant companion. Bharata understand. There is one fellow who is along with you all the time, called death. Whatever you do, it is with you. Please understand that. He says, saha mrityuhu nishidati. Sudirgam advanam gatva. Even if you take a very long walk, it will come with you. It is not saying, no, you are taking such a long walk, I am very tired, I am sitting here. No. It is your altar, your shadow. It will come. Mrityu is like your chaya. It will come. He says, Gadva sudirgam advanam saha mrityuhu nivartate. Finally, it will come along with you only. Even if you take a long walk, it will mrityuhu saha nivartate. You come back along with it only. You can't leave it somewhere and come. Right? So that's what it says. Nandantyudita aditye nandantyastamite hani atmano nava buddhyante manushya jeepitakshayam. Nandanti udita aditye. Adityehi gata raharaha. Shriyate jeevitam, the second half. It says when sun rises, people are happy. Oh, one more day I can do this, I can do that. A new day has started like that. Nandanti udita aditye, nandanti astamite ahani. People are happy when the sunset also. I can take some and prepare myself for tomorrow. Right? So they are very happy. Looks like they are happy about all these. They don't see beyond it. While this is fine, but you have to see beyond it. Don't stop here. So nandanti udita aditye, nandanti astamite ahani, atmano nava buddhyante. Manushya jivitaha atmanaha na buddhyante. They don't understand in this process of this happiness that I am going through, I have lost, I am losing myself. The days are going. The days are going, so I am slowly losing myself. That they don't understand. People don't understand. In fact, that exactly. That I keep Ayu Richa, first mantra is that only. Samani. Yeah. Exactly. That is the first mantra. It says, as every day, the meaning of that first mantra in Ayu Richa is as every day the sun rises, It is like this life called bird. Of this life called bird, one feather is cut. One feather is cut. That's what that first mantra's meaning actually. As every day rises, imagine this life like a bird. It is like for this bird, you cut one feather every day. So its ability to fly will go one day. That's how it portrays that. This is a beautiful shloka actually. Yata kashtam cha sameyatam maharnave sametya cha vyapoyatam kalamasadya kanchana evam bharyascha putrascha jnatayascha dhanani cha sametya vyavadavanti dhruvo hyesham vinabhavaha. It's a very deep concept. Rama says, Yata kashtam cha samayatam maharnave. Think of a gushing river, floods, good rain. There's a gushing river. You would have seen this scenery again and again. In a gushing river, what happens is, as you see it, suddenly two logs of wood will just touch with one another and keep on flowing in the water. It will go like that for some distance. Then it will just separate out. Water is coming. So many things are coming. So two logs of wood comes. They keep on moving like this. After a while, it separates. By mere force. We have seen it quite often. We see it. Whenever there is rain, we see this. That example he gives. Yata kashtam cha sameyatam maharnave sametya, having gone travel together like that, sametya cha vyapeyatam, it splits. Kalam asadya kinchit kalat anantaram vyapati vyapyoyati. No, it splits into vyapohayati, whatever you want to say. It goes away. So it says just like two logs which flow through a water system. It flows like that together. And after some time, kanchana kalam asadya, kinchit kalat anantaram, they just separate out. He says, in the same way, evam, in the same way, bharyascha, putrascha, jnatayah, all your jnatis. In other words, this whole so-called this family, brother, son, father, mother, uncle, aunt, and younger brother, elder brother, sister, all these are all flowing in this janma. Kinchit kalam asadya is actually this janma. In this janma, in some combination, we have come. And we have come together and we are going like this. After some time, we just separate out. And people exit at different times also. It separates out in its own way. Devadavanti dhruvaha hi yesham. It is certain. Yesham vinabhavaha. Non-existence of this is 100%. Please understand. See, there are three interpretation, three implications of this shloka. If you read the shloka with chapter 6 of Bhagavad Gita, there is a question which Arjuna asked. Arjuna asked, I did so much of this thing. You said dhyana and all that. I asked you that, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna, for which you said asamshaya abhava, all that you said. Then I said yoga chalita manasaha. Ubeyatra Brashta, all that he asked. He said, I am neither here nor there, what will happen? Chapter 6 ends with 5 shlokas. Where he says, Nakaschit Kalyana Durgatim Tata Gachati, Sushinam Shrimatam Dehe, Yoga Brashto Vijayate, Atava, there are 2-3 possibilities. Now, you don't have to only interpret it for yogis. If you take this shloka with that shloka, the first interpretation is coming together into a same family is not by accident. That shloka says, Krishna says, you will be planted in a particular place. Because your journey that is the most conducive place where your journey will happen. So these Bharata, this Putra, Bharya, Jnataya, Bharata and all that, we should understand this is a great design by the Lord. This is a great design. I keep saying this because I keep telling sometimes people, Abhipraya Vedas, little bit brothers is all, I keep telling this, don't do that. Because it's a great design of the Lord that we all have to come together to one family. And after all, that is that shloka. This shloka says you are going to sail for some time. That's all. So you have to really make a very good sense of this whole thing. We should make a very deep sense of the whole thing. People cannot get together into a family. People cannot get together like this into this room also. I mean, we can say the same thing. This is Lord's, this is Bhagavad Leela. Every moment of what we need to do is all beautifully orchestrated. So if we understand this concept very well, then in this is the fundamental principle of group dynamics for me. Group dynamics will be very good because there's a deeper meaning to getting together. This getting together is ordained in a very deep, in a very different way. So in a family coming together, being born like this as a son, father, but it's not by any accident. There is a great reason why these set of people have come together. That is what that shloka is saying. This shloka is saying that while you come like that, don't also put too much emotion into it, because this is like this wood which is coming and going. You have to take both these shlokas together. It makes eminent sense to how to lead a life. How do we lead a life with all the people around us? There is no room for any dvesha. There is no room for any different ways of doing things for a person who has actually understood these things very well. You have to raise to that level. Let others be whichever way. These slokas we take together, it gives us that moral high ground on which we can lead our life, notwithstanding what happens. Because these two slokas together brings these concepts very deeply. So he says, Kashtam cha sameyatam maharnave. Like that only we have come. He is telling him, don't get too emotional with me. That is what here he is saying. He is saying, I respect all your love and all that, but understand, this is a journey. It is going to, we don't know which way it is going and how it is going. Just we met. It will be good when we met and then shake hands and part off. Not with a lot of heartburns and feelings, and that's not worth. I haven't read, I say. I haven't. There are very nice ways of communicating these deep concepts of life. Natra kaschit yatha bhavam prini samabhivartate tena tasminna samartyam pretasyatyanoshochatah. Natra kaschit yatha bhavam prani samabhivartate tena tasmin na samartyam pretasya asti anushochatah. That is the Padacheda. He started with the same idea only. Na atra kaschit yathabhavam prani samabhivartate. I can't just be what I want to be. That's not easy. Because there is something called fate. You will put all your efforts, but the way I want things will not happen all the time. So, na atra kaschit yathabhavam prani samabhivartate. Which includes it also includes about the second line that he's saying, Tasmin Tena Tasmin na samartyam pretasya asti anushochatah. So pretasya anushochatah Tasmin samartyam na asti. So what he's saying is, just because you feel very strongly about death and this thing, that doesn't mean you can overpower death. You don't get that samarthya of overpowering death just because you have that kind of feeling and that kind of thing. It doesn't give you that samarthya. Na samarthyam tasmin asti, or samarthyam tasmin nasti, whichever way you want to Huh? The na is there, asti is there. Pretasya anushochataha, one who very deeply thinks about death and it doesn't mean that he is going to overpower death, and that samarthya you will not get because of that. So don't, because he brought a lot of these death issues. Later he says that don't grieve for father's death. You may think mother created it, I was responsible. This kind of guilt he is going through. That's why all these fate and all he is talking. He's saying so many things happen. Why are you putting everything onto your head? See, many of us have this problem. We put everything onto our head. As though we are the creator, we can solve all problems. This is the fundamental problem we have. We put everything on our head and do such an extraordinary level of thinking only to get into deep trouble and then get admitted somewhere. Blood pressure goes up or sugar level, something happens, or some psychiatric treatment or sleeping pills, something, then sleeping pills doesn't work, it goes to the next level. I'm not getting sleep. So then you have to do something else, some more tranquilizer. So I think there's a certain level of thinking, certain level of agency God has endowed us. But if we keep Daivam, if we keep there is a larger force and all that, we know how much we'll have to do and how much we have to take. That framework which people don't have, they have no capability to take. They think everything as their failure, as their disaster. So they start working even more strongly and destroy themselves even faster. That's why he's bringing all these shlokas in front of Bharata. Yata hi sartam gachantam bruyat kaschit patistitaha aham apyagamishyami prishtato bhavatam iti evam purvai gato margah pitrupaita mahai dhruvah tamapanna katam shochet yasya nasti vyatikramah. He gives him a simple, I think Bharata is very agitated for right reasons, he thought. He's giving simple things. He says there is some caravan passing. Yatahi sartam gachantam bruyat. There is some sort of a thing, procession or a set of things going. Kaschit pati stita. I am standing on the road. I see something going. Ahamapi agamishyami. Prishtatah. I will also come behind you. Bhavatamiti. I will come just like saying there is a sort of a thing going. You say, let me also come along with you. Group of people going. Then you say, let me also join you, and then join behind them. You say, that's much simpler. It's much simpler. In the same way, evam purvai gataha margaha. Purvaihi means who? Pitru paitamahayihi. Right? Dhruvaha. In a very unsteadfast way, my ancestors have walked this path. Let me also walk this path. Very practical, simple way of living. Today we are all being told you have to question this, scientific discovery, this, that, everything to only make a little more life complicated for us. He says, evam purvagata margaha pitru paitramukaihi dvaha, right? Tam up katam shochet yasya nasti. See, yasya vyatikramaha nasti, one who says, I will not overstep. Ancestors have gone in a particular way. I think there's a lot of sense in what they are doing. Let me also go that way. Just like the procession is going, let me also go along with that. It's a very safe way of going where we have to go. In the same way, Purvajaihi Pitrupaitamahaihi Purvaihi Gataha Margaha Nasti Vitikramaha, one who does not overstep. He says, Tham apanaha katam shochet. How will he get into these kinds of mental agony and all these complications? Don't complicate yourself too much. I think you are thinking too much. You are putting everything onto your head. You are thinking you are responsible for it. Mother is like this. Keep all of them away. There is a fate. So he brought 2-3 arguments. He said there's something called fate. Whatever you jump, there is a fate. Plus understand, recognize it. You do your work. But understand when things are not working your way, Daivam cha atra panchama. Understand that. Then time is precious. You are wasting a lot of time on thinking about many things every day, getting about. So a lot of slokas on time. It's saying you are losing time. Don't do that. You already lost a lot of time. Then he says, don't get very emotional. Kashtam cha. Samayatam. So like that, we are all come. Be happy that we are all brothers, sisters. I mean, understand. One day we'll just sort of go. He brought all that. So he says, when you do all this, listen, the best thing is to do is you are putting everything onto your head and then agitating too much. Don't do that. If you do like this, where is the trouble? That is going to be the trouble. Father has said something he has done. Situations are led to something he has done. Keep on going. Don't say, I will sort out everything. It is all wrong. I will right all the wrongs, fix everything back, forth, and all that. Don't do that. I think it doesn't seem to, wisdom says, doesn't seem to add much to what you are going to do. Vayasappatamanasya srotaso va nivartinaha atma sukhe niyoktavyah sukhabhaja prajasmritaah. He says, Vayasaha patamanasya vayasaha srotasaha. Srotasaha patamanasya vayasaha va anivartinaha. The water which has flown out doesn't come back to its source. Correct? Doesn't come back to its source unless you put a motor and work against the flow of gravity and pump it back. That's a different story. We are talking about the Prakriti. Atma sukhe niyoktavyah. Right? So, sukhabhajaha prajasmrita. So, you have to keep yourself in a state which is a peace of mind. That alone is good for you. You have agitated yourself. A lot of things have happened. They are not going to come back. A lot of things have happened. They are not going to come back. Just like the water which has gone is not going to come back again. Therefore, you have to focus that Atma Shanti. That alone is good. You have to work on. So it's all Vedantic discourse for him. Atma Shanti is all that is very important. On that, you fix all the parameters into it. Things will be good for you. Is what he sort of. With this, he actually concludes his advices. Then he says, "Don't grieve for father's death." And a few shlokas, and then it sort of. That is because Bharata thinks that some wrong has happened. My mother is responsible for it. I am also responsible for it. That is why he is thinking like that. That's why he painstakingly explains that you may have 100 things in your mind. Fate plays finally. And so many things happen in life. While you may have all that, you understand the larger picture. So that's why he is coming back actually. Yete bahuvida shoka vilaparudite tada varjaniya hi dhirena sarvavastha sudhimata. He says so many vilapanas will happen. Yete bahuvidaha shokaha vilapaha udite tada. Out of your vilapana, you keep bothering your mind. You keep on bothering your mind. Thousands of such things will come. It will generate endlessly. It will generate, right? Varjaniya hi dhirena varjaniya. He is the dhira who says, I have to keep all these away. Varjaniya hi dhirena sarvavastasu dhimata. In all avastas, you should be able to train yourself, constantly think about it. The best thing to do is to keep them away. Otherwise, you are no better off. That is a dhira. Dhimata. Who dhimat will do that. Dhiraha will do that. You have to do that. That's what he tells him. Dharmikena nrishamsena narena guruvartina bhavitavyam naravyagra paralokam jigishata. He says, be a dharmic person. Understand a few principles of life. Don't steadfast dharma. You have to. So that is what first part of Ayodhya Kanda, Rama brought it so well. How he established this, father has said it is my dharma that I should do it. You should not look at the other things. He says, dharmikena, lead a life of dharma, andrisamsena, compassion. Don't have to be cruel. Have compassion, right? Guru Vartina. Guru means elders, Guru means the teacher, Guru means the parents. Guru has all the meaning in Sanskrit. So Guru Vartina, being follow the path of the gurus. If you are like that, hey Naravyagra, Paralokam Jigishata. Your after world will be good. This is the simple practical thing. You are putting too many variables and churning yourself. I will tell you a simple thing. Don't let your mind ruin you. Follow dharma. Have compassion. Compassion is very important. Anushamsam is very important. And Guru Artina. Your other world is done. Don't unnecessarily bother yourself. So what do we get out of this? I put this and Bhagavad Gita, I found similar things in both the places. And to me, after a lot of thinking, it came to me that the point both of them are addressing, both Krishna addressing Arjuna and Rama addressing Bharata, is a lesson for us. What is it? If we face something very extremely difficult in my life, what should I do? We keep facing. Bharata is facing, Arjuna is facing, and the yukti is common. Krishna's yukti and Rama's yukti are same. So I just pulled only that yukti out of what I understood. So this is lesson for us. We will face sometimes very difficult things. What should we do? How do we? Because it will suck us in. Every moment it will, the vilapa rahita, chinta vilapanam, all that will happen. The question is, how do we, unless you get out of it, there is no, by being in that, you will never find a solution. You will only, it's a downward spiral. It is actually a downward spiral. So the question is, how do you get out of it? This is what Krishna told Arjuna. That's why in chapter 2, first it came. Similarly, here to Bharata, Rama is saying. So there are 4 things that I find here. First thing they say is, develop deep awareness of limitation of mortal life. So this is a very useful principle, I'm telling you. If you get something which is bothering you, start thinking about death. And death means, and not that I won't die, not that way. What I mean is the limitation of mortality. It will put a lot of wisdom in you. When you have a very deep trouble, think about the finiteness of life. You suddenly find your agitation in one level will come down. So that is what Rama is also telling. Develop deep awareness of limitations of mortal life. Okay? And moment you develop that understand the limitation of mortal life, the universality of fate will come. Because ultimate fate is death. The bigger googly is actually death. Of all the fate, the real googly is death is a fate. It's a reality. And when it will happen, I don't know. It will throw the die. That's why he said, if you go walk, death will come. You come, death will come. He's telling it different ways. The ultimate form of fate is death. Now you can't be, say, I am a fatalist, therefore let me consume some poison and that's the end of the story. I mean, that's foolishness. And there are untrained minds. It only shows the mind is untrained. That's not the way to actually solve the problem. And that's not actually, there is no problem actually. If you see it as a problem, there is a problem. It is not a problem. So understand the universality of fate. Why? Because only when we understand this governing principle of fate, we'll be able to take disappointments in life. And disappointment is inversely proportional to the effort. It's directly proportional, not inversely, sorry. Directly proportional. You put a lot of effort, your disappointment is very high. Oh, I put so much effort, it failed, therefore my disappointment is very high. Bring the element of fate, it will come down. Because you will understand, oh, this is what it is. I have done my best foot forward. This is what it is. So that is why that understand the universality of fate is very important. If you develop deep awareness of limitation of mortal life, then we'll also need to contemplate on transient nature of everything that we value in our life. That's why he says, Kashtam, Kashtam, Chal. That why is he saying? He's saying, understand whatever you value in life as is very transient. Develop that, keep contemplating on it. So that you'll be able to handle things as things spring up in life. And then appreciate all these will lead to appreciate importance of time. Everything is transient means time becomes a very important thing now. Things are so transient. So transient means the biggest variable is time. In engineering sciences, the difference between steady state and transient state, we have to use a little engineering principle. Steady state means that which does not change with time. if you have to give a mathematical equation, t plus, if the system state is like this at t plus any other future time, it will be like that only. Nothing changes. That's called steady state. Whereas transient means it changes the time. Time becomes important. So we will understand the value of time. If we understand all these, we will get inspired by the larger principle of dharma. All these will lead us to that invisible force called dharma. Oh, this is the ultimate. That's why finally Rama said, Dharmikena, Andrishamsena, Guruvartina. He said those three. He said, have that, life is made. So I think this is the lesson that Valmiki gives us, Krishna gives us, Rama gives us, that if you face any serious, real challenge in life, deploy this. Get into this thinking, it will bring you to the next. Otherwise, he will just get into a, So this chapter 105 and the first shloka 11 to 30, you please read. Both are identical. It's told in a slightly different way. The yukti is the same. And the context is the same. Context is both are facing a problem. Emotionally, they are stuck. They're thinking, feeling guilty. They are feeling helpless. They don't know how to solve the problem. They think they are the reason for it. Same thing Arjuna also. Yukti is same. Which means we have to learn this from this particular sarga. I think with this we will close this week. Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahishaha go brahmanebhya subhamatsu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini deshoyam kshobarahito brahmana santu nirbhaya aputra putrinas santu pautrinah adhana sadhana santu jivantu sharadam shatam shunvan ramayanam bhaktya yappadam padame bhava sayati brahmanastanam brahmana pujyate sada. Hari Om. Next week we will not have a class. I will be traveling next week. Maybe next week after that.